Hello there, everyone. I'm going to ask you this question. I always start off with a question. Have you ever felt like your thoughts were working against you? Let me just get something right off the bat. Your thoughts are not you. They're not even under your control at times. See, what I've learned under the psychology is that it teaches that your thoughts shapes our reality. But here's the good news. It may shape your reality, but you can shape them into reality. Yes. One of the biggest mistakes sometimes we all make is identifying every thought that comes across our mind as truth or reality. And the danger becomes a game that because it can become messy in our minds, disorganized at times, and in a place that's full of memories, fears, hopes, with a lot of unnecessary things and topics that pop in and out of our heads every day unexpectedly. It interferes with our lives at times and it can give you and causes overload. But I want you to know there is hope as we as humans, as we embark upon this life that we have. We have the ability to observe these thoughts, direct our thoughts, and that's what separates us from animals and humans. And it defines us of how we can be consciously living every day. So I'm Dr. Cheryl Clark, and I want to welcome you here. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, a communication coach, and the founder of Speak Your Power Now. And I help people to discover their authentic voice and break through the barriers of what's been holding them back to reaching their true potential. And in today's show, we're going to dive into another powerful topic. And that topic is how we're going to explore how to control your thoughts, not to suppress them and not to fight them, but to also be able to control them by understanding them, by learning how to act and respond instead of be reactivated, and to consciously master your mental domain. So before I get started, I always say this little note. I'm not here to replace your therapist, your coach, or your mental health professional, but I am here to provide you with the practical tools, the real life world scenarios that you can use right away to support you on your mental health journey. Okay? So like I always say, get a pen and pad out. I'm going to be giving a little notes here and diving more into how you can control your thoughts. And the first thing you got to recognize is that you got to understand your thoughts. What does that mean? Understand. You got to understand it. What does this mean to understand, Cheryl? You got to understand your thoughts, that your thoughts, they have been influenced by your past experience. They have been influenced by your environment, and you have been your subconscious have been programmed. All right. So let me introduce this concept of mind chatter. Okay. Just what it is, mind chatter. Understand mind chatter. So when you hear me say mind chatter, I want you to look at this. When and why is this important to define firstly? Because how do you understand it? You can't believe every thought that enters your mind. Think of this way. Your mind is like a machine, right? So, and it's a very sophisticated machine, right? It's a biological machine, it's a motion machine, it's a machine, right? And it's designed with to generate ideas and responses. But not everything that it spits out is meaningful or useful, okay? So some thoughts can be random. It can be scattered, right? And just like on a radio, when back in the day it was a radio, and we had to like tune it in order to get the station back in the day. So this is where you got to look and see, you got to get the right frequency. And everything that pops up may be an experience from the past, maybe a social conditioning. And it's just like you got to look at even when your body reacts to it biologically. So these is what we call these automatic thoughts. Understanding your automatic thoughts. Auto, just like this, you put it in auto drive, it goes, right? Matic thought. Okay? What is an automatic thought? Understanding this is key. Your automatic, you're in drive, automatically going. You put it on autopilot, it's gone. But here's the danger. There is, for an example, if you look at this, if you've been hearing throughout your life that you're dumb, you're stupid, you're all of this other stuff that's happening to you, you will automatically think that you won't succeed. You're dumb. So you move from that space. You may not have value, or you're faced with, you think that you're not valuable, and it can cripple you for success. Self-sabotaging behaviors that you don't even recognize that you have. But if you step back and just a thought doesn't mean that it's true. Just because you thought that you will never succeed, does that mean that it's true? But when you step back, and I'm going to give you some tools to do, you're going to figure out how to learn how to just shift those things, ignore those thoughts, replace those thoughts, and treat it like a cloud in the sky. You notice the cloud, right? You acknowledge that the cloud is passing, but the cloud passes. Don't try to fight everything. Look at the cloud. You're not going to take the clouds. You can't even get the cloud out of the sky. But understanding why you are here, and over time, as you find these thoughts, they may have been intrusive at some point. They maybe still are intrusive in your life. Maybe they're negative thoughts that causes you to lose your power. But when you refuse to give them your attention, then you start to gain your power back. All right? So I hope this is really getting to you. So the second thing I want you to do, after we are understanding our thoughts, now we need to learn how to protect them. Okay? The second one is protect. You got to learn how to protect your thoughts. Now, a lot of us, let's talk about this, protecting our thoughts. Here's the thing. Your mind isn't just a machine, it's also a garden. And like any garden, what you plant, you must nurture and grow it. If you allow weeds to come in there, which is negative thoughts, toxic people, harmful habits, it can take root and it can spread and choke out the good plant. It can choke it out. So you have a choice to play. You have a choice in your life to be very intentional about what you expose yourself to, what you assume even on media, because media is a real kicker. What the conversations that you engage in, the environment that you decide to be a part of. These are not neutral things. These are things that you can control in your life. And they can consistently shape your mind. Either way as you look at it, it can help you grow. And the ways that you can do that is that you become intentional. Because if you don't, the weeds can choke your potential and undermine your potential, your talents, your gifts, and all that. So I want you to ask yourself right now, what am I feeding my mind? Remember, your mind is the garden, and you got to protect that garden. Your mind is the garden. What are you consuming? Are you consuming negativity, despair? What's around you? What is in your environment? Is it inspiration? Is it knowledge? Is it people lifting you up? How are you protecting your thoughts and creating a good boundary, healthy boundary, a psychological fence, if you want to call it? Find it. Surround yourself, your mental space. Around your mental space, you got to create that. And only what you nourish, only what you want to grow, allow it in. Only allow what you want to nourish to allow that in. Hence, I love that when I talk about psychology, teaching it, loving it, things in the mind, empowering people. So I nurture it. How do I nurture it? I come on here. I give it away. I talk about it. I have groups about it. This is where I'm growing it. I'm watering it. I'm inviting people in that would be able to support it. And it's not just about eliminating the bad weed. It's not about eliminating. It's about cultivating the good. Because sometimes weeds do seep in. Those thoughts will seep in. But you got to counteract that and protect it by reading the books that will expand your mind. Coming on here to expand your mind. Engage with people that will challenge you, inspire you. Begin to listen to the ideas to force yourself. Sometimes you got to force yourself to think and look critically to grow in those spaces. And over time, you will see as you will get connected to your mental space, it will be a sanctuary for you. It will be a sanctuary and it will be a growing sanctuary. So think of this. I want you to think about any negative thoughts that come in your mind to protect it. I want you to think of ants. Okay, just like ants. Ants are these little black things that could be a little annoying that they get on you there, and if they're all over, and they're very hard to see. Sometimes thoughts are like that. And this is a very quick way of helping you with this. This is really, really good. Ants are these automatic, this is what the A stands for, automatic, negative thoughts. Okay? Now, when you're looking at this, I want you to see what this means. So any of the ants that come in, I'm not good enough. This will never work for me. Those are very common. And you have this black and white thinking that everything is against you. It's not going to work for you. All of this really highlights things of being in the space of the automatic negative thinking. And you have to look at your life as a space where now we call them in psychology these cognitive distortions. And what we think about, how we see the world, is in a distorted space. And these can be negative. So we're shifting how we are looking at ourselves. And we're seeing how a situation, we can now look at it from a space that we need to begin to see the automatic negative thought to a situation. Now, let's give an example. So think of a situation, you could do this right now. Think of any situation, it could be recent or before, that happened that was negative. What was the first thought that came through your mind? You may have had, a negative thought that came through your mind about, you think somebody was talking about you in the group. And what is the worst thing that could be helpful to you? What is the thing that you focus on? What was the worst case scenario? Everybody may think you're stupid or dumb or whatever the case may be. I want you to write it down. Write down the label, the distorted label. They think I'm stupid. They don't think I know what I'm talking about. They don't think I'm capable. All that. Whatever it happened, it was on a group thread or a phone call or a Zoom call, and you feel like somebody shouted you out, they looked at you funny, whatever the thought was that passed through your head, take something and then write down the first thought that came to you. They think that I'm stupid. They think that I don't know what I'm talking about. Whatever it is, write down the worst case scenario that they thought about you. Recognize that there's a pattern that you're in. These thought patterns. The first step is that you got to begin to protect your space. Protect your cognitive space. Protect it. And you have to do something called selective attention. I said it, selective attention. What is this, Cheryl? You are dropping some words today. I'm telling you how you can control your thoughts. Selective attention. You know what this means? Be intentional about what you focus your energy on. Avoid any toxicity. Avoid any toxicity of environments. Limit your exposure. Why would you then continue to do this if you know that, listen, selective attention. You select what you put your attention on. You do that. Nobody has control over you. You select it. Then I want you to, the second one is mindful consumption. 2, it's very important for you to have mindful consumption. These are very important to protecting your thoughts. What is mindful consumption? Apply the garbage in, garbage out principle. If you have garbage in, take the garbage out. What if you leave garbage in your house all day for weeks on end? What will happen? What will continue? Your house will start to stink. Whatever you feed your mind, it will be outputted. So you got to recognize, what garbage are you keeping inside? Garbage belongs out. Don't keep it inside. Okay? The third one. Now they're all good, but this is one I want you to pay attention to, because a lot of us do not pay attention to this part. You're going to be an observer. You got to observe the thought. You got to observe the thought. Now, what does this mean? It means that when your thoughts are coming in your head. I want you, remember I started off, you are not your thoughts, right? I want to say that again because it's very important. You are not your thoughts. You are an observer of your thoughts. And this is a very profound distinction I want you to get. And it's called metacognition. It sounds like a big word, it's not. Metacognition. That's all. This is all. Cognition is just the way you think. And this is just meta is bigger. It just means bigger. That's it. That's all. It's the ability to think about what you're thinking. So I just want to highlight that point, right? It's the ability to now think about what I am thinking. This is where you're going to be the observer. And this is such a great technique for you to start to learn. If you get this, you are going to be able to control your thoughts and get your power back. Okay. So the highlight I want to highlight is the power that's helping you to step back from your thoughts, evaluate them objectively. Now, these are your own thoughts. So when you are observing your thoughts, what you're thinking, that means you're pausing in the moment. You're creating distance from your mind, the disorder, whatever's happening, the disorganization, I should say. It's you stepping away. So think about this. Think about you're in a boat, right? And the water is raging on the boat and you're in the boat. Now picture yourself standing on the bank, on the land, watching the boat raging. But you're not on the boat, but you are watching the boat. You just looked at that boat, that you saw yourself in the boat raging, Think about it, that you're in the boat, Richard. That's different experience than you observing that boat in the raging water. That you're looking at that boat. You're stepping away from that chaos. You're stepping away from actually participating in that boat in that type of way. So once you begin to practice noticing your thought without judgment, when when those thoughts arrive, you say to yourself, there's a thought, I see it, but it's not me. I'm not in the boat. I'm not in that boat. I'm observing the boat. So that's a simple example of how you can now see that thought. I hope I gave you that visual, because now it gives you more control. Because when you're in that boat in that raging water, you feel like you don't have control. But when you're on the bank, you feel like you separate yourself from the contents of your mind and say, I have to be in survival mode. It's just a reframe of how your thoughts are. It's a reframe of you challenging your thoughts to help you move through it. So the evidence of you understanding what are you reframing, what are you seeing, and it gives it a more balanced view. Your vision is a different point of view. So if you're thinking you're not good enough, you're thinking you can't achieve those goals, instead of you that being the dominating thought, I want you to see it from a different lens. Remember, I'm a solution focused therapist, so I tell you, what's already working. You're on land now. You can't really do anything about that boat. Maybe the boat is gone. Maybe it's gone. You lost the boat. It's gone. But you're standing safely over here. Create new possibilities. You can walk away. You can create something new. You can be grateful in the moment. What am I learning here from observing and redirecting and transforming my mental landscape? That is where you can begin to do this. I hope this is really helping you, because this is very transformative. And now, after you have done this, you have the observer. Now, the last thing you're going to do is redirect the thoughts. The fourth thing you're going to do is redirect. Okay? You're going to redirect. And after you redirect your thoughts, that's all it is. It's just redirection. I call it a course correction. Use a redirection. Redirecting your thoughts. So let's talk about what we have done already. We understood the mind chatter. You're an automatic. Whatever crosses your mind, what are you going to say? What are you going to do? Are you going to pay attention to it? Are you going to protect your mental space? Are you going to grow your garden? You're going to step back, give it some distance, and direct how you can consciously move through and observe it. Think of the bigger picture. And when you're moving through this, I want you to know that it doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. And when you observe yourself, instead of you being reactivated, you're going to respond. Allow yourself to build stronger resiliency in this space. And the thing that goes on with redirection is a point. There's a psychology term that we use: self-efficacy. Efficacy. Let me write that up there so you can actually see. Running out of space here, but that's what happens. This is a psychology word here. Hopefully you guys can see it. Because if you understand this word, then you'll be able to apply it. Okay, self-efficacy. So this is a concept coined by Albert Bandura, and it refers to your belief of how you were influenced by events and outcomes. So it's just want to explain it just a little bit. How we control our thoughts is really directly impacts how we believe, what our beliefs are, basically. This is why it matters to understand your thoughts, and it comes from your behaviors, how you were nurtured, and things of that nature. So, because the quality of your thoughts will determine the quality of your life, that's why it's important to see what's running the show behind the scenes. So, if you are being dragged in different directions and you don't know which way to go, you got to take control. You got to become the master of your mental space. You got to create that conditioning for your mind that you can grow your garden. It's your garden. So, what I want you to do is to grow self efficacy. You can do this. Take 5 minutes daily, 5 minutes daily, and observe just without judgment. Just observe yourself. Maybe you are very negative when it comes down to yourself. Just observe it. Just take note. Don't do anything. I'm not saying to do anything. Just take note. Don't judge it. Write it down in your journal. Track it. This is why I say get a good journal, because what happens is once you start writing in your journal, you can say weekly, how did I grow? This is a new one. So you can see by third week, you can see how you're reviewing how you grew. And then you can reframe the patterns. You can look at your patterns and then take intentional choices. Be intentional what you consume, what you spend time on. And every day you can spend time shifting this. Get an affirmation that helps you. Every day I'm becoming more and more aware of my thoughts that's shaping me and that's serving me. The ones that are shaping me to serve my purpose. I'm gonna say that. I can say that again. Every day I am becoming more aware of my thoughts and that are shaping me to serve my purpose. That's a good thought. That's a good affirmation. Apply that. That can shift you, and keep applying that every day. Now, when I hope that these things really put this four steps, 4 things you can apply. Even if you understood, that's a major goal. That's a major thing you can do. I want to leave you with this thought. I want to leave you with this powerful thought. Your thoughts are powerful, but they're not your destiny. With your awareness, and your practice, you shape your destiny. You can control it. You have the power to do that. In essence, you are a full human being that can transform any disorganization in the mind, any messy thoughts, anything that comes up that's negative. You can do that. And I want you to pay attention to what's happening in your mind. Start taking those small intentional steps towards cognitive mastery, mastering your mind. That's all that means. Mastering your thoughts. And every moment you can observe yourself, directing your thoughts, investing in yourself, becoming the best version of you. This is not just psychology, it's your life. I just happen to be a therapist that learned some tools along the way, and I'm here to share them with you. So remember, you're in control of your thoughts. You have this, your thoughts is a skill that you can cultivate, not a talent. With practice, you can turn your mind into the greatest ally of all times. All right? So if this inspired you, helped you, give it a thumbs up, like it, and share with someone that you think will need it to encourage them. Subscribe to the channel. Let's build a community. Go ahead and get into the academy. There's many courses there that you can take. Be a part of the support groups. We have different things that are happening on a monthly basis. Get connected with a community, a thriving, positive community like Speak Your Power Now, to build together. And remember, I always end like this. Remember that sometimes your life is defined by one single moment. Let that moment be today. Have a great day. Until next time.